So isn't that a rather odd title? Two Chairs in the Desert. Although I wouldn't imagine that would be so strange coming from me. So this refers to a new objective that I'm adding to the good life. This would be objective number 8. Oh my, how the list seems to grow. I added this objective after several weeks of trying to find a way to deal with the voices in my head. Not voices like that necessarily, but what I mean by that is the competing questions and narratives and demands that are constantly in my head, especially from the hours of 7:30 to 5:30, my work hours from Monday to Friday. And it begins also on Sunday night, which it is now. And the real bad time is in the morning, from about 6:30 a.m. until about 7:30, when the clock actually, the Fred Flintstone whistle blows and I actually get it going to work. And the problem is that I'm pretty good at dealing with one thing at a time. That's why I have one of the principles is the principle of one thing slowly. In fact, it's the principle just ahead of this new principle, which I'm calling the principle of, not principle, objective, the objective of audience. One thing slowly is the objective whereby I attempt to remind myself to just attend to one thing at a time, whether it's in my head or physically, and to not multitask. And I do that so that I can do a better job at it, whatever it is where my attention is focused, but also so that I don't watch my time slip and fritter away, chasing after many rabbits, as the old adage goes, right? He who chases after many rabbits will catch none. Hold on, do I feel a sneeze coming on? I just got out of the pool. Pardon me. I just finished my Sunday job. I'm a driving instructor on Sundays, and got home and went for a swim in the pool, and still have wet hair, and the chlorine. Well, it's not really chlorine. It's a salty pool, a saltwater pool. So whatever it is, kind of makes me sneeze. So as I'm thinking out loud on this, I'm asking myself, why did I have to create a new objective? If I've got the objective of one thing slowly, why do I need another objective, audience? I guess it's because I'm not doing a very good job with one thing slowly. The purpose of one thing slowly is to literally slow myself down and force myself to attend to one thing at a time and slowly. But I don't do a good job of that, especially at work. I tend to feel myself crowded close by all kinds of competing voices asking for attention. Don't forget to do this. Ask that other person this. Did you write that email? And do you know that you have another meeting coming up? Just constant in my mind. Of course, I'm vulnerable like anybody else to drop the balls once I try to juggle too many. Raza says that you know that feeling. Yeah. So one thing slowly wasn't doing the job. So I've been thinking for a couple of weeks of trying to come up with another mental tool to use to address this. And so I've come up with this thing called audience. And I've been using it for a couple of days now. And it seems to work. There's a comment in Japanese, konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. And then the rest, it's all fading away. Tomorrow will be the test. I have a very, very big day today, a very busy day tomorrow. But I have another tool that I'm employing too. So I'm not being a good scientist, right? I'm not going to know if the results, where from the results do stem, which of my activities. I won't talk about that other than I'm doing right now. Let me just talk about audience. The idea of audience began initially in my mind, where I began to picture in my head that I'm here just like I'm talking to you. But right directly in front of me is a chair. And in that chair can sit or reside whatever it is that I'm attending to at the moment. And I will only focus on whatever's in that chair. whatever's crowding me about and whatever might be getting close, to heck with that. But furthermore, I've created a cordoned off area, with like a little ropes, a roped off area like at the bank, right? Ushers you up to the tellers. Cordoned off area, and I've sequestered all of the distracting voices, all of the other things, to behind the velvet rope. Stay back there until your number is called. I know this is just an artifact of my brain, just a little trick that I'm trying, but curiously, the voices seem to obey. At least they've done so. It's been a long weekend. I could say this weekend. It's been a 4-day weekend with the Thanksgiving holiday. I've been experimenting with this all 4 days. Granted, it's pretty easy to experiment with mental tools to manage stress and busyness and distraction, mainly stress. Hold on. We'll let that loud car go by. It's easy to manage that when not working. But that all changes tomorrow. This tool, this thing that I'm calling audience, seems to work insofar as I found myself to be pretty good at visualizing all the things that I need to attend to as outside that ring. I can almost see them beyond the velvet cords, waiting patiently or not out there. Well, whatever it is I'm working on now is seated right before me and is talking at me. Now, I'm not sure what kind of mental police operation is keeping them out over there. They seem to just be obeying the mandate. I wonder if that will keep up. We'll see. But the other piece that I've been trying is that every now and then I picture that there's nothing in the chair, at which point I leverage the old methodology used by so many groups, like I think the Buddhists and groups that do meditation, which is to focus on my breathing, mindfulness, right? That's the word I'm looking for. Just sit there with the empty chair just in front of me, just like that. You can kind of see there is an empty chair right in front of me, and just picture the empty chair and breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Well, that has such an effect. So it's been working for a couple of days. So next I needed to give it a name, and that's why I called it audience. Audience being that, the audience with me, right? So with my own internal thoughts, right? Come have a seat at the chair when invited, when welcome to do so. We'll see how this holds up tomorrow when I actually have to put it into practice in a more challenging real world situation. So this would be objective number 8. At least I'm toying with the idea. I'm not going to formally add it to the book just yet. Although I did picture an image that I would like my daughter to make for me. And that would be a desert, open plain, a peneplain if I could, with just kind of gradually going off forever. And then some hills in the distance, maybe even mountains. And then 2 chairs, one in front of the other, with the one chair, that same character that Emily seems to create, that she represents me as that kind of a darkened character, featureless, in the desert, kind of worn and pushed about. That character seated before an empty chair. Although that alone doesn't quite capture the whole picture. You'd be neat to have something with the cordoned off area with the other thoughts, but I don't know how to illustrate that, given that those are simply things in my head. And with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and close it for tonight. My wife and daughter should be home in just a moment. We had a nice Thanksgiving. We went to a restaurant, actually. They had outdoor dining, a Japanese vegan restaurant called Vegelicious in Huntington Beach. And we had a nice Thanksgiving meal there. And my family are trimming the tree. I was working today. Yumiko and Emily we got a Christmas tree yesterday, and Emily and Yumiko were putting up all the ornaments and decorations, and I think they've just arrived home. And I'm going to go join them and have a nice dinner and get ready for tomorrow and the first day of work using the new objective of audience. We'll see how this goes. If it can hold up, if it can really work, then I'll add it to the book. And Darth Sepp says, "Happy holidays, Kurt. Take good care." You too, Darth Sepp. All right, I wish you all well. Remember, be safe, but not too safe. Take care.